away the Camille or Fiora if BMG is greedy with their draft. I think it's too greedy to pick those two top laners immediately, the Camille and the Fiora. But it does whittle down the choices of what strong top laners that can be used for split push capabilities. If I were to think of any, Riven, but it's not as effective as Fiora and Camille, right? Like, it's so weak. Like, this is good from BMG. I like it's greedy with their draft, but I do think they still have 3 chances at least to minimize to make sure that someone can transition towards the late game.
I mean, Riven has been buffed up lately with the recent patch 4.3b, which is being used right now, but not enough yet to be prioritized.
It's not a scaling.
Unfortunately, I miss the days where we see Riven a lot. I actually miss it.
Same. It's so flashy to watch, but I look at Riven the same way as Irelia does, where they're pretty compared to the late game top laners or solo laners. They're pretty stable. Like it's like they have a very straight trajectory no matter what phase of the game you're at. You don't really fall off, but you don't really scale high like a Fiora or Camille does for split push. So the Garen is okay. My biggest worry is that they don't have any answer for late game split push. So WRL Boys is just basically saying we have to win early to mid. If late game comes, we have no answer to the 1-3-1.
They need a late game scaling, an additional late game scaling champion here to be picked up in the mid lane. Possibly if they're gonna be able to flex something like an Akali in the mid, just like Z, channel his prowess. Maybe they can have that kind of angle here against BMG. But so far, I am liking more the composition here of BMG. It shows more potential for me, especially because they have split push, they have a good engage, they have good disengage if ever through the chain of corruption, and now as they pick up the Alistar, this just adds in more frontline power for them. It's so hard to deny an Alistar going in just because of how tanky he gets. But we forgot this actually, Riku.
I forgot about
Vladimir is so... How can we forget about this? Yeah, we got used to the fact that Vladimir never gets used since yesterday. And now, WRL Boy is like, ha ha ha, left this open, we'll take it.
Okay, BMG can pick Kassadin here. I know we keep saying that. Whoa. I don't want to celebrate too soon. I want to see a Leona, please, 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 please. Okay, if it's not a Leona, it's a Leona! What?
Yay!
Yay! I'm so happy. This is a newly picked champion from, at least from Ionia Cup. We haven't really seen Leona being picked at all. I am just wondering with the synergy here, because this means they don't have disengage at all. It means this is an all-in type of composition. I can see the potential of dive as well. It's not as strong as what we saw from Thunder Talk, but I can imagine the Leona going in, Killer Instinct going in. You've got the pool as well to just deter any tower aggro, and the Kazakhs can jump in as well. Garen is pretty tanky. This still doesn't really address the concern of a 1-3-1. I don't think they will address that anytime soon or at all in this draft. So they're definitely banking on very good skirmishes and really strong 5v5s. For BMG, however, the 1-3-1 is really the strongest part of their composition.
Yeah.
All they have to do is survive the early game to mid game, which is very possible with the Alistar. Your 3-man is with your Alistar. You just push people away from the tower if they dive you, and you're good to go.
Isolated fights would suit BMG better. Rooftop fights, WRB for sure. And that's going to put in a lot of problems here for the matchup later on. Especially objective taking. I think WRL Boys have this in the bag. BMG, it's up to YOLO, up to DJJ as well on how they are going to initiate these side lane pushes, because it's super complicated. It's not as easy as it seems just pushing the lane. No, you have to be always aware of your surroundings, always aware with the map, always coordinated with your team, make the proper adjustments if ever there is going to be a rotation towards your side, and also just keep the opponents in check. They might go into your place, or they might start an objective taking that can actually bait you out. So we have seen this being attempted by a lot of pro teams as well. But the success rate isn't really that high.
I like what you brought up, which is you have to watch out for what the other enemy team is going to do because we talked about the tower dive. I strongly feel that the Wilder boys have a lot of tower dives, but also this comp from BMG. They have the volley bear. They're able to get priority in lane because the thing is Kai'Sa's pretty good wave clear, but you have to actually stand close to the minion wave, and for that to happen, you'll stand in range of the headbutt knockup combo coming from the Alistar, which is just so risky for you because you don't have disengage. You are with a Leona, so it's a very it's a very risky comp that they're running on paper. So they have to initiate first if they want to get success in their composition.
Yola's been doing really well in this matchup against Naidi. It's a good way to start, not getting bullied by the Garen, and later on just slowly building after that. The good thing about picking the Camille is actually two things. One, you have sustain in the lane with the tactical sweep, but also you have the adaptive defenses that can actually help him go with a 1v1, at least in the early game. If he builds something like, of course, Divine Sunder is gonna be built, but if he adds him something like maybe a magic resistance, maybe some sort of resistance against the Vladimir, maybe he can stand his ground in a 1v1 setting. That's gonna help you with the split push because no other champion can actually go head to toe against this Camille of DJJ.
Yeah, that's the thing. No one can go up against Camille or the Fiora at all in this composition. No one can. And that is definitely my concern because this composition that Wilder boys have, even if they have dive potential, if you don't get priority in lane, you cannot dive anything at all. So BMG, I do feel like they're having the stronger start of things on paper, especially on the laning phase.
I wonder how Wilder boys are gonna initiate fights later on because yes, they have the solar flare, but aside from that, they don't really have any other tools to initiate. So it's going to be up to this Leona to make things happen for Wilder boys. And the scary thing about this is that there's YOLO with the Fiora. Just one perfect riposte can turn the tides around.
That is what it means because if we look at the ults that are available, there's Leona, who's going to be the prime initiator, engager of this composition, and the riposte is practically enough. Is right.
There's the engage. There's also a follow-up slow. They can just easily take him down. YOLO almost gets actually 1 for 1. It's just perfect actually for Wilder boys.
That's not bad. A 1-for-1 trade is better than a 1-for-nothing trade.
Wave is also even. Just frozen there.
Yeah, this is the downside of being a Garen. You want to make sure that you don't you push the wave and make sure that you're not unprioritized. But this also gives you vulnerability to aggressive ganks like these done by Nanhai. But good thing it is a 1-for-1 trade. However, no matter what.
What's the game plan here of BMG though? Because it's
wait
going to
till
take a
15
lot
minutes.
of time. Yeah,
16 minutes.
16 minutes.
17. And
but
is
the problem
down.
is they don't really have that much engaged potential to contest objectives against Wilder boys. And that's gonna be scary once late game starts as well because you'll have 0 priority on Dragon Sacks. Baron as well is going to be very difficult to contest. Also Elder Dragon. Naidi is being bullied a lot here in the top lane, but he should be fine. Has the Garen passive to heal himself back up, and if it as well, to help with the sustain.
I think they're very the best engage that they have is the Hextech ultimatum. Usually when you kill one and it's a 4v5, usually the team will decide to just not try to contest the objective. So I assume this is the best that they can do. Hextech ultimatum, all single targets actually. Chain of corruptions, well, this is semi like AoE if people stick around. So we'll see. They do have a big AoE knockup from not Nanhai, but the rest.
They have Stormbringer as well. Looks like Nanhai is going to be prioritizing
Nice.
this dragon. There's no jungler on the side of Wilder boys to steal this away. So BMG just says thank you. gets a kill as well.
Whoop, boom,
Well,
smack.
there's the kill, finally. First blood, a 2 kill for AZ. Just perfect way to start this game. That's a little bit odd there for Wildrift Boys.
Yeah, I do think that they should have started a fight first. They do have a lot of tools for that big AoE. Being in a cramped area will allow BMG to set up for Sao Ming on that big knockup. So they need to fight as fives. Let's see. Oh, they got the
Double
Rift Herald already.
objective. Wow.
Yeah, got everything.
And everything. This is very reminiscent of the previous game. A dive or a gank, double objective as well. 2k gold lead at the very start. Okay, it's not 2k gold lead. Almost. Actually, almost is.
It's almost there. It's still close. Because there's not a lot of tower plates being taken by BMG just yet. This is really good by 90. I gotta give props to this player. Even you're supposed to have a difficult time against the Fiora. I mean, he has, but I think he's managing the waves really well. So this is the time where we get to see a big gap, not a tremendous gap, a gap in the gold with the tower being taken down. So as long as the plates, as long as the Wildrift Boys is able to mitigate their losses by taking plates of their own, I think they'll be fine. The mid game is where I think they should really be more aggressive with this Leona, because I really haven't seen the Zenith Blade Solar Flare initiation. The thing is, as if the Alistar is if Sao Ming is nearby, he's just gonna push everybody away.
Yeah, he can deny the engage from Cat as well. Yeah, this draft looks really good on paper, but against this composition of BMG and after the series of event, it seems to be a difficult lineup to actually pull off. And normally, we look at compositions that are easy to execute, the engaged lineups, all-in lineups to be really favorable. But in here, it seems to be really difficult to actually win against BMG. The laning phase is much better. The objective takings are more efficient for BMG as well. And as the time goes by, it's going to be a lot harder for Wildrift Boys to start getting some wins.
Exactly. They have to speed up the process here. This is gonna be another dive. I'm afraid for 90.
Yeah. Stormbringer Tower will not help you, 90, at all. That is a long duration. Finally,
Okay.
he is able to escape for a brief amount of time,
Oh,
but
wow.
the Hextech Ultimatum says otherwise. And yeah, Pime is just gonna be happy with that. Yufan as well,
Whoop.
being chased out by AZ. Piercing arrow to the face. That's another kill for BMG.
This is pure chaos. You know something's up if the AD carries are fighting each other. Whoa!
Yeah.
What?
There's a lot of maybe grudge moments there.
yeah. Like, oh, you killed my AD carry. I'm here to kill you too. Yeah, that was a long extended Zenith Blade because of the flash. So take a look at the replay. I think this is not. Oh, the 1v1 Chain of Corruptions. Just everything. Auto attack into a piercing arrow. Just Killer Instinct for the shield. This is just painful. Varus at the early to mid game is just so painful, honestly. Especially you get the stacks into piercing arrow. It's just so good. Zenith Blade max range. Oh wait, no, a flash wasn't used at all. I thought the Zenith Blade connected into a flash. It's not. It's still pretty much long
I
range.
actually thought so as well.
Yeah.
Like, well, so just a 1-for-1 trade. It should be okay for Wildrift Boys. There's a Leandre Torment being picked up by Yufan. I wonder if this is going to be equally effective as they intended to be. Maybe they're just gonna go with a Void Seeker spam. Aiding, going in alongside with Yufan with a Killer Instinct. They lost to Leona. Now Yufan is only one left alone. D has a different objective here, which is to just back away and survive. Naidi is being ignored for the entirety of the splash, and since he's all alone, just seeing an opportunity to get one more kill. Now we see a 7,000 gold lead, Riku.
This is a lot from BMG. They're really good at taking care of their lead and hammering down, and to keep it even, keep ballooning it up further and further. I want to point out what you talked about, which is the Kaisa on the AP route instead. I'm wondering if this is alright, because while they do have really decent AD damage already from A Ding, They
Yeah.
already have magic damage, a good magic damage source already from the what do you call this? From the Vladimir. So I'm a bit concerned with the consistent DPS damage, if you will, the auto attacks rather, especially when we put towers and objectives in the fray. I know Kha'Zix is really good at objectives and knocking just anyone down in the late game. However, that's in the late game. So I'm just worried in team fights with their damage. Oh.
Wow. YOLO just YOLOing there. Is happy with that one kill because he got a lot of attention as well. Now top side, Ime being helped out here by Nidahe, and suddenly there's 3 people. It should have been a 2-for-1 battle.
Chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very chaotic. There's fights everywhere.
Everywhere.
Every single minute, and I'm just a little bit confused right now on what's the end goal here of both sides. Well, it is to win, but so far it's being more executed better on the side of BMG. Towers are falling down. Inhibitor tower down to a third of its HP. Not a good sign here for Wilder Boys.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. Even the late game is not going to bear any good news at all because the Fiora and the Camille are just gonna split push to eternity. As we can see, Z, oh, what? Not Z. Z is not in this game. He's already done. He's already finished from earlier. As you can see, the
here.
Camille, yeah, the Camille is doing an amazing job as well. As you can see, 306 already has his Blade of the Ruin King, so he's gonna hurt a lot, especially towards the Garen. I don't think 90 can do anything that much, to be honest, against the Camille's especially. So all they can do is try to survive and try to not, I guess.
It's a possible fate here. Nobody's going towards the bottom lane on the side of BMG. But even at this point, right, there's gonna be some sort of hesitation on every move that Wilder Boys is gonna make. And they need to be extra careful. Now they invest on top side, but you're going up against a Camille that has a hook shot and possibly even a flash available. Not really the best target to get here on Wild Rift Boys. The Baron being initiated, BMG can just take this for free.
Yeah, this is just so fast coming from BMG. Now they get to initiate the fight.
After the Baron, Fime is still alive, able to flash away. Naidi is the first one to fall down, so that's huge here in terms of impact for BMG. Now they just get everyone in a blink of an eye. That's basically an ace. Yeah, that's an ace.
Ace, and the game is done with the Baron buff in hand. With the tower so low and the minion waves crashing down towards the base, this is gonna be a 1-1, Giang.
Yeah, 1-for-1 now in the series. Looks like BMG is keeping this series alive for Cerberus Esports.
1-for-1, it seems. This is gonna be a tight series for sure, and we get to see like the caster crew here on on the Wild Rift Boys. Scratching your heads a little bit, like, where did we all go wrong? And I do have a feeling it all boils